Hey crew, this is Happy Days, and here we are in a new game called Stranded Deep. It's only recently been released on Steam, and I've skipped the intro just because it's the typical thing: plane crashes, you're in the water, you're all alone, you got to craft to survive. That's the premise. So it's pretty simple but very effective. Basically, I'm playing this game because if you're on my channel, you know I love survival crafting games. They're amazing. You'll notice I just dropped the paddle. It's the Q button to drop and space button to jump. And a big mechanic of this game is if you highlight something and right click and hold, you can actually drag the object. Very important because inventory space in this game is policed in a way. Like, you can't carry a million things. It's tabbed to bring up your inventory, and you have things. You start with a lighter, a knife, and a bottle of water, and that's it. That's pretty much it. And then you're on this island and you have to survive. And can I just say, it's a beautiful island. They've captured what it would be like being on a deserted island. Lovely. So it's E to pick up an item, and basically the first thing you want to do when you land, and I noticed that potato plant, but we'll come back for it later. The first thing you want to do on the island is just pretty much run around quickly and find any sticks like I'm holding now. And I'll actually select something different because the stick is taking up like most of my screen. You want any sticks, any rocks. And if you can see a plant called a yucca, and you can tell they're bigger than the other plants, and I'll show you one if I can spot it. Not that big, but large. They're kind of like these ones, but a bit bigger. So I'm sure we'll notice one in a moment. So you want to collect any rocks and any sticks you find. It seems like things are limited to a stack of 4 in your inventory. So you can't just carry a stack of 28 million sticks in one inventory slot. Although, ironically, carrying, 4 knives is the same as carrying 4 hefty sticks, which is kind of silly, but anyway. So here's a yucca plant, and using your knife, you want to slice it up, and it'll drop lashing, which is a primitive form of rope, which is critical in this game. It's used for binding things together. In modern society, we use things like, cement, glue, industrial glue, stuff like that. Nails. Out here, you use yucca plants. Alright, there's little crabbies walking around, and you can kill them if you want. You just shank them with a knife. But they do take up an inventory slot, so I killed one just to show you. That noise means I can't carry anymore. And one thing I really like about this game is it does limit how much you can carry. So you need to find a spot that you want to start building on. And this looks pretty cool. And actually dump the stuff down. So you select it and you just push Q a bunch of times. And you drop them in a pile. Just like that. And if I can give you a tip, try and drop things close to each other but not directly on top. So the rocks and the sticks are together, but they're not. It's not like I can't pick them out from each other. Okay, now if you hold the left mouse button down, you'll get a context menu. So see how there's a little, under the word stick, there's a white bar with 3 black bars. If you hold it down, there's a crafting context menu, and it'll let you know what you can build. So the first thing we want to make is an axe. And for some reason it falls straight in the pile with everything else. So E to pick that up. And that means we can start chopping down trees in just a moment, because I want to get this yucca plant as well. Sometimes you do have to click the mouse button repeatedly, which is slightly annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Okay. So I just got some more lashing, so let's chuck that down. And if I can give you a tip, put your food separately at the start. The crab's dead, it's not going to run away. So here's a big tree. Before I chop it, if you walk into it, you can climb them. So it's up to climb. You can actually pick the coconuts. And it's down. Whoop, 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 whoop. And I fell out of the tree. It should have been down to go down. But it's not perfect. And this gives us a good opportunity. So I just took some damage. But there's no heads up display. So if you hold down F, you look at your wristwatch. And if you left click your mouse button, it'll show you your vitals. The heart is your life. The middle thing is your food. And the right water droplet is your water. Interestingly, health seems to regenerate in this game. I haven't attacked a shark or anything yet, so I don't know how true that holds if you get, you know, your foot bitten off, but we'll see what happens. So we felled a tree, and if you right-click a segment, you can drag the tree, the whole thing. And it actually gives you an opportunity to chop up separate parts of it. So we're going to chop up the palm bunch first. Now, unfortunately, the developers haven't included the ability just to hold down the left mouse button to repeatedly chop an object, which is something I hope they do very soon, because I'm all for the realism of having to chop up a tree. That's cool. That adds to the experience. What doesn't is clicking the left mouse button 3,000 times. Okay, so the palm fronds will be used to make our shelter. So we're just making piles. We've got the fronds, the sticks, the lashings, and the rocks. So it's all coming together nicely. So we're probably going to need another segment of log. And basically each log segment will turn into about 4 sticks, I think. So you need to firstly separate it, and I only moved it to show you that it's separate now, and then you have to chop it again to turn it into sticks. And it takes about 8 hits once it's separate. Beautiful. So it's still a lovely day, the sun is high. You can see that tools have durability, so the axe has taken just a little bit of damage there. So we'll pick up the sticks and we will chuck them onto the pile. Lovely. Okay, so let's see if we can make something else. So we can make the hammer, and the hammer is required for building anything. So if you want to start building stuff, you need the hammer. And you'll notice that it highlights craftables in a blue sort of hue now. So if you hold down for the context menu, you're getting a foundation option, which needs 8 sticks. It'll use them instantly, and it gives you a sort of highlight of where you could place your foundation. And I want to put it... let's see, this is a big decision, obviously. I'm way overthinking this. There we go. Beautiful. And there's our foundation, the start of our island hut. And then if you hold down the left mouse button again on craftables, it'll let you know if there's anything you can build. It seems at this stage of the game that the closer your craftable objects are to the actual thing you want to make, the better. So putting your palm fronds and sticks near the foundation are a good idea, because we're going to change those into supports for our foundation here. So I've put the lashings there. That other one could probably be a little bit closer. Remember, this game is super early. It's just been released. Let's see, we can make a support, which just needs 1 stick, and that'll snap into place, and they're just like, I don't know, corners of your walls, I suppose. And we need 4, obviously, before we can put a roof down. So let's get our axe equipped. And we'll have a look around, and we're probably going to need some more sticks. So let's get chopping. Whoops. Now, if you like survival games, obviously, you know, even though this game's early, it's very playable. You know, you don't have things flying off into the distance like some early access games. Everything seems reasonably solid. I'll just put the rocks back down. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good so far. And I like how you can actually make like an island hut. And hopefully you can put more than one foundation together to make like a base. That would be really, really cool. Alright, so we're back up on our foundation. And we'll put those down. Let's get our hammer back out. Alright, so now we've got the option to make a roof and a wall. But I don't know, the builder in me wants to put the 4 supports before I start making anything else. Okay, so I've got 4 supports up now. So I think the roof would probably be more important than walls at this stage. So let's see if I can make a roof yet. Nah. Alright, so we're probably going to need some more sticks. And if you can't tell yet, obviously there's a bit of chopping involved. But I suppose when you play these sorts of games, and I don't know how well you can hear it, I can just hear the ocean sort of lapping against the sand. And I suppose the point of these games is to give you that feeling of being isolated on a deserted island. And yes, if you just notice the axe shadow is flying in the air, they haven't made the outline of the character yet, obviously. But hey, I'm sure we can forgive that at this stage. Alright, so let's put the other sticks down and see if we can make a roof now. That'd be really cool. Yes! Alright, let's put our roof on. Awesome! So we have a roof on our little sea shanty now. Now, it would be nice to have some walls, I suppose. But also, what we need to get ready is some sticks for our campfire. Because obviously, if night comes, it's going to get pretty dark. And to make a campfire, you need 5 sticks. And it's better, I found this out the hard way, it's better if you isolate the objects for different things. So you might need to look at the wiki a bit to get started. I'm not going to turn the fire on until nighttime, just because the campfire only lasts about, I don't know, probably a night cycle, to be honest with you. Alright, so let's wander back into, there's another stick there. Let's wander into the center of the island and see if there's anything we've missed here. I remember there was a potato plant somewhere I wanted to check out. And the rustling of the trees as we wander through. There's no wildlife on this island from what I can tell except for the crabs. Just the crabs. Good old crabs. There's the yucca plant. It looks like I can harvest it again, but it's not grown properly yet. So it's probably a waste of its resources. Alright, well, it looks at this stage that we're going to need to fell another tree. Which I'm going to actually post on their Steam forum and say, hey guys, can you just implement just a little something something, hold down left mouse button for choppy please. I don't think that's asking too much, do you? Like, I'm all for the chops. That's fine. I've played Don't Starve. I'm used to collecting resources. But what I don't think I need to do is repeatedly click a button to do something I could just hold down it for. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you agree. How about a like if you agree with that? Alright, I do like how you need to separate the pieces of wood and then chop them up individually, because that's very realistic. You know, if you're on an island and you had to chop down a tree, you'd have to separate it into segments. That's how it works. Okay, what can I drop? I might drop a few coconuts for now, because I think the 4 palm fronds are probably a bit more useful. So it's starting to get a bit darker now. This game reminds me a bit, and I know the graphics are going to be heaps old on this thing I'm about to say, but there's a game called Stranded, which is a really old PC game, but it's very similar to this. We can make walls. Okay, so walls snap into place too. Well, they should. Yeah, got a wall. Exciting. Let's see, is there anything else? No, just more supports. I don't need them. Oh no, did I use up my campfire sticks? Ah! Okay, we need to quickly chop one last segment of that tree I chopped down. So we can start a campfire, and I reckon that'll do for our first adventure today. Yeah, there's a really old game. If you like this style of game, Google it. It's called Stranded. I think number 2 is the best one. Or it's the finished one. And apart from graphics, it's very similar to this game. You have to chop up logs, you gather grass for binding things. You have to look for your hunger, thirst. And yeah, you can travel island to island. So very cool, and the second I started playing this, I'm like, oh, it's like Stranded. So yeah, very cool. Alright, so we'll start a campfire and cook some crabbies. Or crab. I have crab. Alright, I think it's 5. Try not to put everything down that you need. Oh, that moonlight's awesome shining through there. How cool is that? I love it. Oh, there's our crab too. Alright, so let's pick up Mr. Crab. Alright, so obviously need the lighter. Ah. And there we go. We've got a merry blaze burning. So let's cook our dinner. And from what I can tell, you have to right click the crab and you hear a cooking sound. I don't know what constitutes cooked though. So he's cooking away. Nice Mr. Crab. Okay, let's put it back on. Put him on the fire. There you go. There you go. Oh, he fell off. Does it say cooked? No, it doesn't. I don't want to poison myself. Throw it back on. Okay. Well, I'm going to prop it up there anyway, because I'm not going to spend all night trying to get a crab to sit on the fire. Get on the damn fire! Ugh. Listen, you. I think the developers are trolling us. Okay. So there we go, guys. We've made a shelter. We have a fire. We have a semi-cooked crab. And life is good here on the deserted island. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed this. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. We do a lot of survival games. They're lots of fun. And yeah, let me know if you want to see more of this game. It seems pretty cool. If you see into the distance, there's faint outlines of other islands that we can travel to. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more of this game. It looks like it's going to be lots of fun. Alright crew, stay happy, and I'll see you next time. This is HappyDays signing out.